Buenas tardes, continuando con nuestro programa en nuestro anteúltimo panel. Oh, sorry. I started in Spanish. I started in Spanish. I'm really sorry. I guess that's a mixture of, languages. So, welcome to our second to last panel. Welcome everybody. That was interesting, super to have our 10th ACA for those who were there. So let me pass it to Paz Gonzalez, one of our global ACA partners, Avina, to manage the new panel. Please, Paz, por favor.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, pero pasamos todos, ¿no? Okay, maybe we can all go to the panel, the speakers. What do you think, Ricardo? Yes? Okay, then I think it would be nice to have everybody on the panel. ¿Pasamos todos al panel? Gracias. Thank you. You can sit wherever you want. Okay. Thanks. Well, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure and an honor. I'm introducing the panel, today's panel. And the name, as you might see, is Exploring the Power of Nature to Combat Climate Change in Cities and Organizations. And I don't know if you have realized how beautiful the name of this panel is. At least for me, it wasn't until last night when I stopped to look at the details of the event that I stopped, read, and I realized how beautiful it was. I think we don't have anything more important than nature. Nature provides us with food, provides us with shelter, provides us with shade. And I'm sure that if you take 2 seconds to close your eyes and try to relax, the first thing you will see is nature, because nature even provides us with mental health. It helps us to connect with ourselves. My name, as Ricardo said, is Paz Gonzalez. I am part of Fundación Avina, one of the global allies of this initiative. And I am sure I don't have to tell you much about the importance of nature to fight climate change. But maybe I do have to tell you a little bit more about these alliances for climate action. This is a global initiative that is that combines 8 organizations, 8 global organizations. One is WWF, our host. The second one is Fundación Avina, Avina Foundation, the organization that I represent. C40, Women Business, Stanley Foundation, the Climate Group, Climate Action Network, CDP, and C40. And I wanted to take a few seconds to present all of them because all of them represent different kind of factors, different sectors that are working together to fight climate change and improve climate action. The alliance at the global level is a family of national alliances which bring together climate leaders. So our leaders today are these that you can see and you will hear soon. As you will see in today's panel, these leaders come from different sectors, and what they have in common is that they are working in their countries to fight climate change and improve climate action, as I was saying. These alliances include different actors, like, for example, from the private sector, NGOs, and universities too, but also subnational governments. So today, I will introduce these speakers one by one, and you will hear their experiences working with nature-based solutions in different sectors and different countries. So, the first speaker today is Nung Pham Thikam. Nung, right? Okay. I will give a little introduction of her. Nung. I will read it, sorry. She is the Climate and Energy Practice Lead in WWF with 14 years of experience working in environmental issues. Her current work includes promoting sustainable energy and providing support to conserving natural capital to enable green growth and securing climate change resilience and mitigation in Vietnam. Okay, it's nice to have you here. Do you have a mic?
presentation. May I move to my presentation? Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, okay, I'm very honored to be here today to present you our nature-based solution in Vietnam, specifically focused in Mekong Delta landscape. So firstly, I want to introduce a bit about what is the Mekong Delta. So Vietnam Mekong Delta landscape, I think lies at the lowest end of the Greater Mekong River, and I think it occupies about more than 40,000 square kilometers and around 12% of the area country, and it's the home of around 17 million residents. And Mekong Delta is a great economy important of Vietnam, and it contributes about 90% of agriculture export, 60% for aquaculture, and also contribute about 30% for GDP of the whole country yearly. Yeah. So the landscape is now the most vulnerable to climate change by sea level rise and also flood, drought, I think coastal erosion. And Cà Mau and Baguio are among the two cities the most affected of sea level rise. I think it's not it's the right presentation. Okay. So we're talking about today about the mangrove. It's not presentation. It's not the update one. I think I sent to Luli is a new one, another one. Okay. I think I said to Maria. Okay. No problem. It's fine. Okay. So I think talking about the mangrove restoration. So I think mangrove have a problem where mangrove now is a decrease, I think very significant in Vietnam. I think we lost about 60% since 1943 to now. And the driver the driver is, I think, the firstly is agriculture extension. I think the second is also the aquaculture extension. We also facing with the infrastructure development to adapt with the economy develop. And also the climate change issue of the sea level rise and erosion also leading to the degradation of the mangrove. And besides that, we also facing with the policy gap and also different solution and the budget for restoration of the mangrove and protection of the mangrove. So it's showing some, I think, the information about the where we have the impact from the agriculture. I think impact of the agriculture extension in the country. So why the production of the agriculture now is limited due to the limit of water surface and availability of the stream farmer earning low income. So they want to extend the area for aquaculture, and they destroy the mangrove forest for aquaculture expansion. So what is our project on the ground? So we have the project, I think we have a project to enhance the climate resilience of the mangrove ecosystem and the local community in coastal zone of the Mekong Delta. So the project ran for 3.5 years and already start in February 2022. And the project objectives, I think, aim to enhance the capacity of the climate resilience for the local community and mangrove ecosystem via the improvement the mangrove management and also apply the new adaptive aquaculture and agriculture practice. So what is our support? Sorry, it's running too fast. So we support to the community in different areas. I think firstly we support the community for the better farming management practice. And then we do have we support them have a stronger collaborations and among the farmer. So we connect different group of the farmer to work together. And the next one, we link the markets with farmer and the company. So we try to connect with the farmer to the buyer, and we have a better price of when they sell the products from the ground. And also another support, that is a mangrove plantation. So we work with the local government to have a better plantation for the mangrove, to do the restoration and new planting. And also after that, we will scale up all the best practice or successful model. Oh, what is running? Okay. So who is our stakeholder on the ground? We have many stakeholders on the ground, but the key, I think, is the local government and the private sector. So with the local government, we work with the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, and also the Pupil Committee, and also the Forest Protection Department. Besides that, we see the role of private sector is very important, because they will be the buyer, and they plays a very key role in the supply chain of agriculture and aquaculture. Aside of that, we also work with academia to have a better practice for the farmer in aquaculture and agriculture. We also work with the alliance. In Vietnam, we call it the Vietnam Coalition for Climate Action, to promote the successful model and also scale it up to other province and to other districts as well. So here's our journey for the project. So currently, we are planning to do the setting up the model of rice shrimp and mangrove shrimp in the pilot area. And we will also have a plantation plan with the local government to plant the mangrove forest in 2023 and 2024. And then we will scale it up after that. And we hope that by end of the project, in August of 2025, we will have a new phase of projects. I think that's the end from my presentation. So thank you for your
Okay, thanks very much, Nong. Mangroves are such a lovely ecosystem and with such a big importance that I will have a few questions after the rest of the panelists speak. Okay, now we continue with our next speaker, Renato Gonzalo. Okay. I was hoping to see the faces, so I wouldn't embarrass myself, but it was not possible. Okay. So Gonzalo Duran is the mayor of Independencia. He has promoted and generated changes that contribute to mitigating the effects of climate change through a series of initiatives focused on energy saving, conserving the environment, recycling, sustainable mobility, and social welfare. So, Gonzalo, it will be a pleasure to hear you.
¿Aló? Sí. No. Si me permiten, voy a hablar en español y me van a ayudar porque mi inglés es más débil. Y me voy a parar porque me es más fácil. Sí, dale no.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to do my presentation in Spanish as my English is not very clear. So, welcome, everybody.
Primero, muy breve, solo para que sepan, soy alcalde de una comuna que está ubicada en el centro de la ciudad de Santiago. El mapa puede indicar dónde está Chile. En el centro de Chile, la región metropolitana de Santiago, y dentro de la región metropolitana, en el cuadro rojo, la comuna de Independencia, de la que soy alcalde.
First of all, I would like to show you where is Independencia, the place that I am the mayor. This is in the center of Santiago, the metropolitan region, that is the capital of Chile.
solo un par de datos más que creo que son importantes. Una comuna de 150 a 160 mil habitantes aproximadamente, y quizás como rasgo distintivo es la comuna de Chile que tiene mayor cantidad de población migrante en términos proporcionales, y creo que eso es un rasgo sociocultural bien importante de nuestra comuna.
The population of Independencia is between 150 and 160,000 people. And one of the most important data that I would like to tell you is this town has the biggest amount of migration in the country.
Esta imagen, que está un poco deslavada, intenta mostrar que en primer lugar hay un esfuerzo nuestro y me atrevería a decir, la gran mayoría de los municipios de Chile en orden a generar regulaciones que integralmente aborden el tema sustentabilidad y cambio climático.
With this image, I would like to show you the diagram of how different municipalities in the country are trying to approach sustainability and climate change.
Y esto es muy importante con el propósito de que lo que hagamos efectivamente tenga un marco que contribuya a la materialización de nuestras acciones. Uno de los aspectos regulatorios importantes es el plan regulador, que define todas las actividades posibles de desarrollar, que ordena territorialmente las actividades de la comuna, y lo puede decir ahí rápidamente, y solamente decir que está el conjunto de acciones en materia comercial, movilidad, adaptación y mitigación, en fin, el conjunto de acciones que permite, no, tú lo dices ahí, que permite mirar integralmente una estrategia de sostenibilidad.
Thanks. So, in here, you can see the different actions that the municipality is taking in order to promote the regulations that they have identified for the
Son más bien los ámbitos de regulación y de intervención para generar políticas de sustentabilidad.
for all the interventions in the public policies that is part of the Independencia. And in this map, you can see all the territorial regulations that the municipality has been working on in Independencia.
Ajá. Lo otro es que nuestra política de sustentabilidad tiene que sustentarse en los instrumentos, en las herramientas necesarias que permitan el desarrollo de nuestra política, y algunos de los más relevantes son el Plan Local de Cambio Climático. Somos de los pocos municipios de Chile que ya cuenta con un Plan Local de Cambio Climático. Ese es el del periodo 2015-2020. Por la pandemia tuvimos un retraso y estamos en periodo de actualización, y lo propio con la estrategia energética local, solo por mencionar un par.
So all the different actions that they have identified to promote the regulations and all the legal framework, it has been based in different tools that the municipality has developed, and those are three of them. So this one is the Action Plan for Climate Change and Sustainable Energy. The second one is the Local Energetic Strategy for the Municipality of Independencia. And the third one is a sort of energetic certification for Independencia.
Y entonces tenemos las regulaciones, los ámbitos de intervención, las herramientas o los instrumentos específicos, y aquí están las acciones.
So we have regulations, we have the
Ámbitos de acción o áreas,
the
áreas de
range
intervención.
of the actions, where the actions are implemented, and
Los instrumentos,
the tools
y pasamos a las acciones.
and the actions.
Y las acciones son concordantes con las áreas, es decir, estrategia energética local o política energética, manejo de residuos, educación ambiental, movilidad sustentable, que supone distintas líneas.
And these actions are all connected with the different areas of work. So sustainability, energy, waste management, and regulations.
Y entonces toda nuestra cartera de proyectos es la materialización de aquellas acciones que resolvimos en el marco de esta estrategia integral. Acá solo algunos ejemplos en materia de movilidad, política de promoción del transporte público con corredores exclusivos, metro, línea de metro, ciclovías y mejoramiento de veredas con el propósito de promover la movilidad sustentable en toda su forma.
So all the projects that the municipality has been working on and directly related to the different areas of work. For example, they have developed and designed and implemented cyclopath for the cyclists. They have also improving the state of the pavement for the pedestrians and things like that.
Toda la infraestructura comunal, parques, equipamiento deportivo, cultural, en fin, todo tiene que incorporar la variable sustentabilidad en el modelo de generación de energía, en el modelo de consumo, etc.
So absolutely everything, it has to incorporate sustainability. So all the energetic models, the mobilization model, everything, absolutely everything in this municipality involves sustainability.
Y aquí terminamos nuestra última iniciativa que queremos desarrollar con mucha fuerza, es en el marco de un área de la comuna que estaba abandonada. Estamos desarrollando un parque sustentable.
So the last project that they are developing and that they are promoting very strongly is the development of a park, in a park that is at the moment is not used in the area of the Independencia municipality.
Y el parque cuenta con centro de reciclaje, con huertos urbanos, con viveros, con un centro de prácticas ambientales, de manera que la comunidad concurre a este parque al desarrollo de múltiples actividades vinculadas a nuestro proyecto sustentable.
And this sustainable park includes a management area for vegetables cultivation, trees cultivations.
Okay. Y el proyecto que estamos haciendo ahora es la construcción de un parque, de un bosque urbano con una técnica que se llama técnica Miyawaki.
And they are also developing a forest, a urban forest, that is going to be built up based on the Miyawaki
que
model.
Es una técnica de implementación de bosques que, producto de la forma en que se disponen las especies nativas, el sistema de riego permite un crecimiento 2 o 3 veces más rápido que el de uno normal.
So if you haven't heard of this technique means that in the way that all the different trees are displaced in the soil and the watering system, it means that the trees can grow up in 3 to 4 times faster than a normal forest area.
De esta manera queremos dar un paso más acelerado en la generación de soluciones que permitan reforestación urbana, pero en condiciones que permiten incorporar los fenómenos que se encuentran en la propia naturaleza.
So in this way we are showing and we are promoting how this municipality is properly taking actions and using faster techniques for forest growth, but also to improve the quality of life of the people that lives in Independencia.
Gracias, Gonzalo. Thank you, Gonzalo. Well, our next speaker, I know him quite well because he's from Argentina. So he's Christian Feldkamp. Let me see the proper things I have to say. He's the executive director of CREA Argentina, a regionally recognized farmers organization and deputy in the Alliance for Climate Action Argentina. He authored the livestock chapter of the Argentina GHG inventory for the third national communication and participated in the biennial update report, the BURS. And he's very funny.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Paz. Thank you, the alliances, and thank you very much for the Panda Hub for hosting us. Every COP that we can have our Alliance Day, it's extremely important for us. This panel is about nature-based solutions, and we are farmers. Myself, my mate here, Santiago, which is the president of CREA as well, is a farmer. And we farmers, we work at the end of the day with nature. We say that we work with our ecosystems. And so we work with nature, in the nature. Sometimes we have to be a lot of time with the computers, but that's another story. But at the end of the day, it's the nature. And most of us who work in farming is because we love nature. And we are, from the very beginning, in the alliance, in the ACA of Argentina, because we are convinced that we must be part of the solution. Nature must be part of the solution. We know that we have in the agricultural sector, regarding mitigation only, we have three main challenges. First, we have to reduce our footprint. It's extremely important to reduce our footprint. Second, we have to replace the ancient, extremely old, million years old photosynthesis by new photosynthesis. We can do that. The old photosynthesis is fossil fuels. And third, and we realize in the COP that it is not only expected that should be carbon neutral for 2050, but also that we have to be carbon positive. And that's a challenge. And let me say a couple of things of not only of the work of the Alliance, but also the work of the Alliance in regards how to raise awareness. We are convinced that on the one side, we have to raise awareness within our organizations, because when we quit the COP and we go back to Argentina, and the mayor also has a lot of issues in the agenda, a lot of issues. But one thing which is extremely important for us working together within the Alliance of Argentina is that you keep this issue extremely high in the agenda. And I think that's very important, because if we keep climate change high in the agenda, we will take decisions, we will make decisions regarding how to solve the problems. Otherwise, it's a couple of weeks, top in the agenda, and 360 years or 340 years in the number 10. We have to keep it extremely high in the agenda. One thing that, in our view, to be part of the Alliance help us to keep this high in the agenda is we just finished a couple of months ago, a huge event in Argentina of our organization, a huge conference, 7,000 people in Buenos Aires. We gathered 7,000 people in Buenos Aires, and we did it carbon neutral. And for us was to send a message to all the farmers, this should be top in the agenda. It costs money. You know that it costs money to do it. But it's extremely important to put it. And we are convinced that it is because we are part of the Alliance that we have this top in the agenda, and then we want to raise awareness in our farmers as well. We are working out that all the farmers, more than 2,000 farmers in Argentina that represent between 5 and 40% of the agricultural production in Argentina, they compare themselves. Now about 10% of them are already comparing themselves on environmental indicators. They are doing some environmental benchmark. And this is extremely important for us because if you compare yourself, you can learn from each other and you can decide better. You can make decisions, you can see how the other guy is doing well with lower environmental impact. But of course, on one hand, we have to raise awareness, and I think the Alliance is helping us a lot on that. But on the other hand, we need to generate knowledge. We need to generate knowledge because agricultural solutions are local solutions. Ecosystems are completely different between continents. Within the country, we have a huge country and we have completely different agroecosystems, so we have to develop these local solutions. And in this regard, within the Alliance and together with Fundación Vida Silvestre, we have developed a couple of papers, a couple of research that in some way give us a lot of hope in regards how to reduce the footprint. And we know that we are able to, with some techniques, husbandry, animal husbandry on one hand, sequences of crops, no-till, a good fertilization strategy, we can reduce between 15 and 25% the emissions, the footprint. But that's not enough. We know that it is possible to do this. We have to develop more knowledge because the challenge, the big challenge is to be carbon neutral or carbon positive. And I think the truth is that we do not know how to do it. That's the sad truth. I mean, I hear a lot of, we know we can be carbon neutral. Well, that's great. I mean, to see the glass half full, but we don't know how to do it. At least in Argentina, we have a lot of farmers that they are measuring themselves and they say, okay, in this case, you can be carbon neutral. But I mean, how you scale this situation to the whole farmers? So half empty, we do not know yet how to be carbon neutral. But on the if we see half full the glass, we say that we can reduce with almost simple strategies to reduce our footprint. And this is, I mean, give us a lot of hope. And if we keep up high in the agenda the carbon topic and the climate crisis, I think we are going to be able to reduce the impact and to be, at the end of the day, carbon neutral. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Our next speaker is Sergio Aguilar. He is the Director of Planning and Climate Change in the state of Yucatan, Mexico, where he oversees the state's GHG inventory, the elaboration of the climate change law, its regulations, and the associated ecology taxes. He also advises about environmental evaluation, regulation, and wastewater treatment. So,
thank you very much. I want to thank to WWF for the invitation to this panel and all the panelists. I want to talk about not just it's a project itself, it's a strategy. As we say, we are working to subnational level. We are part of the government. So we start working in climate change maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and focus on in get all the policies and the normativity around it. We start with updating the greenhouse gases inventory, because the last one was to 2005. So there is no information enough and sufficient and reliable to make policies. And then we start to work with the carbon budget and the carbonization routes. And when they start working with the Sector Afolu like that, We start and the government when we present the inventory, the government placed the commitment to the race to zero. So the ambitions to reduce greenhouse emissions was more than what we expected. No? So we achieved this challenge and realized we can just work in reduce emissions, because it's not enough when you try to get the commitments to neutral carbon to 2050. So we start looking for a solution for adaptations to get the carbon absorptions and get to realize that the nature-based solutions is a global key, because it's not the carbon capture that you're looking for. You're looking for environmental benefits and social benefits for the community that is living inside the cities. No, even Yucatan, to get a context, Yucatan is more maybe 400 million hectares. We have degraded maybe a half of the land. The population in Yucatan is 2 million of people. Maybe the half of the people lives in one city, the Merida city, and the other half is spread to all this territory in more than the 2000 and 2015 communities. So there are very disgray around the territory. So when you think about this kind of solutions, you need to think in the communities that are working on it, because they live in the sites when you try to work, no, to invest these kinds of projects. And the other thing we realize is we don't have all the money to do what they need to make all the recovery projects or all the conservation projects. One way to identify to work with that is obviously the carbon projects. No? So in the States we start to appear a lot of people to try to work in carbon projects in the communities. So we established this strategy as recovery and conservation for ecosystems to get a big picture about all these projects around and try to map in and get a kind of order to get and ensure the people to the communities that these kinds of projects really have the benefits that they have, no, and they not get false expectations of these types of projects. Where this strategy was presented in May, we start getting the records of these kinds of projects. We already have 16 projects, and the initial potential we identified to recovery is about 50,000 hectares in the state. No? So we think we start going well. Our first step is going well, but we need to work hard to get more kind these projects for adaptation and for carbon credits, so to recovery and conservation. Thank you.
Thanks, Sergio. It was very nice to see and hear how you all were talking about the importance of working locally and working with others. So I have a few questions, one for each, and maybe we have time for extra questions from the audience later. And I would like to go deeper on some of the details you were talking about. I would like to go first with Nung. My question for you. My question for you is, how do you think that the project you presented of mangrove protections and sustainable shrimp farming can impact other communities? How you can bring others to working with nature-based solutions as well? How can we spread the message and the love for nature-based solutions?
Thank you. So I think how we can spread the message and how we can do with the nature-based solution in the country. That is how we can balance between the development and conservation. I think in Vietnam, the requirement we have a model, as I mentioned, maybe not clear in the presentation, but we have a model on the shrimp mangrove. So we have an area to farming the shrimp and also planting the mangrove. And the requirement of the government now is we need the 60% of the land for aquaculture, for mangrove, and 40% for aquaculture. So how we can still keep that ratio as a requirement minimum, and even we can enhance the mangrove areas in the area. So that is I think the mission and also the objectives of our projects in Vietnam. Firstly, to keep the requirement ratio of the 60% mangrove and 40% for aquaculture. And also, in another hand, we also want to enhance more area for mangrove and also, but we also need to help the farmer to have a better productivity for their shrimp, because if they have a low productivity, they will try to extend their land for farming and also cut more the mangrove forest. So that's the project we do both, I think, plantation, restoration, better practice for farming, and also keep doing the more advocacy with the government on the guideline and also regulation for the area. So I think that's the question. I think
Thanks. We have another speaker. Thanks. Sí. Okay. So, escucha mi nombre. Hello, welcome. It's nice to have you here too. Happy you made it. So I don't know if we should continue with the questions or okay. So, well, I will introduce you. Let's welcome Renato Casagrande. He has just been re-elected governor of the state of Espírito Santo in Brazil. He has already been senator, federal deputy, vice governor, and state deputy, among others. And now I see why you were busy. As governor, he created Reflorestar, aimed to promote the restoration of the hydrological cycle through the conservation and recovery of forest cover. So it will be really nice and interesting to hear you.
Bem, boa tarde, good afternoon. E I don't not speak English, ela vai ajudar nessa tradução.
Good afternoon to all. I don't speak very good English, so I will help him translating. It's my pleasure, Governor.
Obrigado. Thank you. Eu, como já foi feita a apresentação, sou governador de um estado do sudeste do Brasil. E essa COP, essa conferência, ela está voltada para a implementação. Então, mais do que importante, uma mesa como esta aqui, discutindo uma ação climática efetiva.
Well, I'm the governor of southeast state of Brazil, and this is the COP of implementation. So nothing more important for the Alliance for Climate Action to be fostering these discussions among sectors.
O Brasil tem uma importância grande neste contexto pela sua riqueza natural, e nós estamos numa expectativa muito positiva, né, com a visita do presidente Lula amanhã, que é a conferência, e a possibilidade da gente retomar o assunto interno e nas articulações internacionais com muito mais força.
Yeah, As you know, President-elected Lula will be here tomorrow, and it will be a very important moment so we can restart of articulating the climate agenda with more strength and force.
Eu coordeno o consórcio dos governadores pelo clima no Brasil e esse consórcio ele se organizou pela ausência do atual governo no tema. Agora a nossa expectativa é que a gente some esforços com o governo federal na busca das nossas metas.
I am the president, the director of a consortium of state governments in Brazil, and we have created this consortium because of the absence of the national government. But now, with this new politician moment that we are having with President-elected Lula, I hope that the consortium can support the new government instead of existing because of the absence of the national government.
Nós então, nas nossas províncias, nos nossos estados, nós temos uma ação que em muitos locais já se desenvolve. Por exemplo, no Espírito Santo, que é o estado que eu governo, nós temos um programa de mudanças climáticas e estamos agora em plena elaboração, na fase final, do plano de neutralidade de carbono.
In my state specifically, Espírito Santo, we are taking climate action in real action. We are in the final phase of our elaboration of our climate action plan, state climate action plan.
Importante a gente sempre tratar da questão da adaptação e da mitigação. E com relação à adaptação, o nosso estado é um estado muito bem organizado financeiramente. E a gente consegue financiar obras feitas pelo governo do estado ou em parceria com os municípios para que a gente possa ir fortalecendo a resiliência do nosso estado.
Well, in my state, the state that Espírito Santo, we have really clear adaptation and mitigation actions, and especially regarding adaptation, we have a clear pathway regarding financing adaptation and in collaboration with municipalities.
Também nesse pilar da adaptação, nós montamos um centro de inteligência da Defesa Civil, onde as agências do governo do estado trabalham, todas elas, integradas com a Defesa Civil de cada município.
Also regarding adaptation, we created a resilience center in the state that work really close with the civil society defense. I don't know if it's the literally translation, but in this way we can work in a coordinated way regarding resilience and adaptation with all the municipalities.
Trabalhamos também na busca de captura de carbono. Temos um programa chamado Reflorestar, que já recuperou perto de 15 mil hectares de florestas, terras nuas, e acompanhamos a regeneração de 225 mil hectares de florestas em desenvolvimento.
With our also mentioned program Reflorestar, we are working in capture of carbon through the reforestation of our state area.
E trabalhamos também com relação ao início de mudança no nosso transporte público. Nós começamos o primeiro experimento com 4 ônibus elétricos e até 2026 teremos 200 ônibus elétricos funcionando para que a gente possa, além da gente capturar carbono, também diminuir a emissão de carbono.
We have also started to switch our bus fleet to electric buses, and we already have 4 units that are being tested, and the aim is to exchange the whole fleet
2026.
2026.
E para concluir, agradecendo a oportunidade de estar aqui com vocês, dizer que nós temos uma necessidade de avançar no nosso país para que ele seja um grande exportador de energia. Então, energia renovável, eólica, solar, biomassa, A biomassa já é um grande sucesso no Brasil, né, com o etanol. O etanol é um grande caminho que a gente tem de combustível renovável e agora muito focados no hidrogênio verde.
Well, and to conclude, given a national perspective, Brazil must be an exporter of green energy. So we have solar energy, biomass energy,
Etanol.
and ethanol. That we should be
Hidrogênio verde agora.
and green energy and green hydrogen. That should we be improving and exporting our green renewable energy from Brazil.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much.
Well, it was very nice, and something that I love about COPs and these kind of events is to see the diversity of faces, colors, and culture that our world has. So for me, it's very nice to see and hear different languages in the panel, because I think that many years ago that didn't happen. It was only English, and estoy diciendo que es muy lindo, es muy bonito escuchar muchos idiomas en el panel. Eso no sucedía antes. So I'm glad to see things changing. But I will keep speaking in English, sorry about that. So I have a few more questions. Now I would like to ask Gonzalo. You were talking about the work that Independencia is developing. You were talking about urban, now I will ask you in Spanish, don't worry. About growing food in the city and building forest in the cities. So I would like to ask you, how is your city working with different organizations to create the institutional framework to integrate nature-based solutions into the action plan? Entonces, la pregunta, Gonzalo, estuviste hablando sobre las iniciativas de huertos urbanos y bosques urbanos que están desarrollando, y me gustaría saber cómo están trabajando estas iniciativas junto con otras organizaciones para integrar las soluciones basadas en la naturaleza en el plan de acción.
Lo primero es que entendemos que la única posibilidad de avanzar es colaborativamente. La única posibilidad de avanzar es colaborativamente, y nuestro municipio trabaja colaborativamente con otros municipios del país, con organizaciones globales y muy especialmente con nuestras comunidades.
So first of all, we think that in order to be able to move forward, we have to work together in a collaborative way. Because of that, our municipality is currently collaborating with other municipalities in the country, but also with other global organizations and with local communities.
Por ejemplo, el Bosque Miyawaki es una iniciativa que conocimos de otra ciudad, que gestionamos los recursos del gobierno regional, que lo implementamos con las comunidades locales y que requiere asistencia técnica de un tercero, y por tanto es una experiencia que demuestra la importancia del trabajo colaborativo.
So for example, the Miyawaki Forest is an initiative that we lent from another municipality, from another city, and for the implementation we were looking for the local government resources. And after we managed to get those local government funds, we also had the collaboration from local universities to have the technical component for the implementation of the urban forest. And in that way we can show how an interdisciplinary methodology it has been based for the implementation of this initiative in Independencia.
Finalmente, es muy importante que para acelerar la acción climática y multiplicar proyectos de esta naturaleza, junto con esta dinámica colaborativa, es muy importante incrementar las políticas de financiamiento, de manera que podamos generar muchos más proyectos de este tipo.
And it's very importantly to highlight that we recognize that in order to be able to implement those collaborative actions, it is necessary to scale up and update the finances regulations, the local finances regulation, because we need to improve the investment and funding resources to promote those projects.
Ok, muchas gracias. Thank you. Obrigado. Todos os idiomas. So, Christian, unfortunately we don't have much time, so if we can go just to the point, that would be great. Higher. Okay, thanks. You were talking about the importance of locally led solutions and learning from the ground experiences. So I would like to ask you why and how could we integrate local conditions to design nature-based solutions?
Thank you, Paz. I think the biggest challenge that we have now it's not on reducing now the footprint, but the huge challenge that we have to start to work next week is to discover, to create, to investigate on local solutions, on systems that will be or that are promising in terms of carbon neutrality. And I think we have, I mean, the ACAs are a kind of space of leadership to look for this kind of projects that we need to investigate and to create this new system. When you talk to the farmers, they are keen to adopt new ways of producing, but they don't know which one. You know, and so we have to investigate which are the systems which are promising, and then try to see what do we need to do to make the transition from the current systems to the new one. So I think the ACAs have extraordinary importance to help to these transitions, to discover and also to help to the transition.
Okay, gracias, Christian. Now, moving on to Sergio, you were talking about the project in Yucatan and the importance of the strategy to recovering the ecosystems. How do you plan on strengthening the links between the government and the different organizations?
Well, the links and the government and other organizations, we are working already with the advice of BCMI to try to get the correct and ensure the policies and guides to carbon credit projects. No, and we're working with a lot of advisors to get a training program for the communities so they can learn about this carbon market and what is the difference in just nature-based solution, which is not to get that kind of credit and don't get the idea the wrong idea about what it means. So we're working with the universities to get a big picture and real analysis of what is the diagnosis of the potential of these based solution adaptation projects in the States.
Gracias. Thank you very much, Sergio. I will try to speak as loud as I can. And our last question is for Renato. You were talking about Lula being elected and how that gives us hope to all of us in Latin America and the world. So I imagine that now with Lula, the climate actions could be strengthened and the relationships among states can be strengthened too. So how can you imagine other states working together to implement nature-based solutions?
Muito bem. O movimento mais forte dos governadores surgiu pela ausência ou pelo afastamento do governo federal com relação a esse tema.
Well, as I was spoken, the absence of the federal government makes the strengthen and make the governors reunited in Brazil in the past few years, so we can continue to have climate action policies regarding the national government.
Agora, nosso debate, né, com os governadores é que, através do consórcio, né, dos governadores pelo clima, a gente possa incentivar para que cada governador, para que cada estado tenha o seu programa de mudanças climáticas e tenha o seu plano de neutralidade de carbono.
Well, now our goal is that through this consortium of governors that I was mentioning, we can achieve that every state in Brazil has a climate action plan and net zero targets.
Os governadores têm um papel muito importante de ajudar o Brasil a reduzir o desmatamento, que é o maior problema que nós temos hoje no nosso país.
Well, state governors in Brazil has a great responsibility in tackling deforestation, that it's our principal climate problem in Brazil.
Temos a expectativa de que a presença do presidente Lula, o vice-presidente Alckmin, a equipe que será montada permitirá uma sinergia de um trabalho em cooperação que vai ajudar o Brasil a alcançar, né, as suas metas assumidas internacionalmente.
Well, our expectation is that with the leadership of President-elected Lula and Vice President Alckmin, we will achieve the synergies that are necessary to make Brazil set these climate goals and targets as in their NDC. That's it.
Muchas gracias. Quisiera, si no les molesta a los organizadores, hacer el cierre en castellano. So, if you don't mind, I would like to give some closure in Spanish. Creo que va a ser entendido por la mayor parte y luego lo puedo hacer en inglés si alguien está muy interesado. Creo que hay un mensaje que me llevo principalmente de este encuentro y es la importancia de trabajar en el territorio, de trabajar a nivel local, de conocer realmente lo que está sucediendo en el territorio, y todos en sus diferentes experiencias de una u otra manera mencionaron eso. Segundo punto sumamente relevante es el trabajar colaborativamente. Varios de ustedes mencionaron la importancia de aprender, de entender que no está todo dicho y de que el conocimiento no viene solamente de una fuente, como puede ser el IPCC, sino que también hay mucho conocimiento en el territorio que debe ser valorado. So I don't know if it's necessary to say it in English too. Yes? So what I was saying is that if I have one key message from this panel is about the importance of working locally led, bringing locally led solutions to work on the ground and to empower the people on the ground. I think that you all were talking about the importance of working together and empowering the local voices, and to know that the knowledge is not only on science, on the IPCC, but the knowledge is also on the farmers, on the people in the territory, and I think that's what we need to strengthen from now on. Thank you.
So before we take the picture, thank you very much for being here. We have our last panel at 5:30, so we have 15-minute breaks. We will speak about dry cities, managing water scarcity in different cities. So please join us, and thank you for the panel, especially Nung, to bringing an international view, not so Latin American. We tend to speak Spanish when we get together. So thank you very much, everybody. We wait for you. Eso. Yes.